Hello everyone! Today I'm going to finish the build exercise for my Wonderland Mini Golf toy box, and to help me with that, I've got Time with me. He's going to help speed up the clock for me and help me fast forward the video in a few spots so that I can get all of this done in one episode. As you can see, a lot has changed since my previous video. I've added in the rest of the fence pieces, and I've added all the plant clusters. So let's take a look at what I've got. I want to do a quick flyover so you can see where the fence pieces should be placed and which plants I've used and where I've placed them. And then I'll show you how to style them. So we'll begin over here on this back corner. And again, you can pause the video at any point just to kind of see where I've placed things. But once again, these are all, oops, not the styling menu. These are all out of the plants drawer. They're the first 9 pieces in the plants drawer. So you can see which pieces I've placed, how I've placed them, and the orientation of them does matter, particularly with these. You want to note where the little purple flowers are on the base there. These are on the back. And it's important because when I style these, the way the tree bends, if you want it to look right, if you want it to look the way I have it, that's you're going to want it oriented the way I have it. But I'm just going to kind of go around the castle here first. Again, these are the terrain pieces underneath, so you can kind of see how they line up with the terrain. And then over here on the first hole, you can see which pieces I've placed and where. Also note down on the river the pieces that I've put there. And let's continue, I guess, around the toy box in the order of the holes. That might be the easiest way to do this. So this is along the river by the first hole here. Alright, and then over here at the first hole, we enclosed all that in before with the fence pieces, so there's nothing really to show there. Again, notice the placement of the little purple flower there on that little guy. So these go back in here to kind of fill in that little scenic area back there. The purple flower is on the back corner over here. And this hole I made a little bit of a change. This path, I think I had it lined up with the hole here last time, but it actually needs to move over. So this is where I moved that to. This is the first piece out of the plants drawer there. A little bit shorter one. Again, you can notice where the purple flower is on each of these. Now for the fence on hole 3, you'll notice I left this little area open. So when you come in here, that's not blocking you. And I've also added the super cannon. And you need to put the super cannon in here first, because you'll notice it overlaps this fence. If you put the fence in first, you will not be able to put the super cannon in. So you need to put this in first, and you can see how I've got it oriented there. I believe this will sit in here between these plant clusters. And then you can put the fence in around that. Excuse me. And then for the next part of hole 3, it's important that you leave these 2 fence pieces out, so that the ball can get across the gap and into this part of the hole. If you put the fence pieces in here, the ball will hit those and bounce into the area here for hole 1. So you have to leave that open. And if you try to angle this up at a 45-degree angle, it'll actually end up just dropping about right here on hole 1. So this has to be facing that way level, and it will actually shoot over these fence pieces here. But again, you got to leave these out. And you'll notice I've got the fence running all the way down there. I've got fence around this little section over here and all the way down. And again, notice where the little purple flowers are on these little guys. This is a different piece, so you're going to notice where the red flower is on that one. And then of course the big tree, you always look for the little sprig here on the corner, which way that's oriented. Alright, so there is hole 3. Going between hole 3 and 4, we have 2 of these plants here, the different levels, and a little bit of fence here. And I didn't put any over that because the stairs will keep the ball from rolling that way. And then between holes 3 and 4, you can see how these plants are spaced out. And up here, around the other side of hole 4, you can see how all of those are spaced. And then on this side of hole 4 at the start, we have a little bit of fence across here just to keep the ball from going in that direction. And once the ball starts rolling down the hill, then you don't have to worry about it. So if you have the memory on another system, you could take this fence all the way down here to the end, but really that's just a waste of memory. Alright, and then down here, fence around the perimeter of that. And again, you don't need it along here because the terrain will keep the ball in play in this area. And then over here we got a little tree with a purple flower there. Same orientation there. You can kind of see which plants I've placed along here. I'm going to come back to the river in a little bit. And over here along the whole 5th hole, you can see how I've placed the plants here along this stretch. Purple flowers on the back corner over here. And then the plants along this side of the waterfall. And the little purple flowers on those plants on top. Alright, and then going down towards the hole on hole 5, you can see how the plants surround the hole here. Spin that camera around so you can get a better look at that. Alright, before we move on to hole number 6, let's take a look at the river, because I think that's important. So starting over at the little lake, you can kind of see where I've placed these plants. I've got fence running across the back side here for hole number 10. And then going along the river, let's see which way would be the best way to go. Let's look at it both directions, I guess. So there's what it looks like on that side of the river. Here's what it looks like on this side of the river. And I placed 2 trees here because you'll be able to see those from hole number 3 and hole number 10. I didn't put a plant down here because I don't think there's any hole where you're really going to see that this is empty, so I left that open. And then continuing around the base of the castle here along the river. I'm trying to go somewhat quick. Again, you can pause the video if you're building this on your toy box. I'm trying to linger long enough so that when you pause the video, you can kind of get a good look at the pieces that I'm using. But I don't want to linger too long because I don't want to make this video too long. Alright, so there is the river. And then you come into this hole, hole 6, I believe. And we have this little raised area up between holes 6 and 7. Again, notice the purple flower location on each of these little trees. At the hedge maze, we have 2 of these plants that are in here. And I'll spin this 90 degrees so you can kind of see where those are placed. These are kind of centered on the opening that's coming through there. And then fence along here. Again, notice where the little purple flower is at the base of that tree. This will be the Mad Tea Party table. So notice how that's oriented. And then again, fence along here up to that point to close that in. Keep the ball from rolling down into the river. And by the way, there's fence over here along the front of hole number 6, 5, 6. I don't know, I've lost count. All right, and then alongside the back of this hole, you can see which plants I've placed there. And then up here, I believe this is hole number 8 up here. You can see which plants I've got along the perimeter of this hole. And I'll come back to the ones that are on the actual course in a moment. Notice where the little purple flower is on this guy. It's on the corner back here. And that one there. Up to hole number 9. And we'll stop at this block here. Alright, for the course itself on hole number 8, this is how we have the plants lined up. So this one's about center of the course this direction, right on this terrain seam, and then kind of split. The left edge of this is lined up with the right edge of that. The right edge of this is lined up with the left edge of that piece. And that's about where they're lined up there. And then over here, this piece is lined up with the edge of that. This is the one that has the flat on that side. 2 of those. Again, notice where the sprig is on the tall tree. Okay, and once again, this is around this is hole 4 over here, so this is around the back side of that. Alright, hole number 9. The trees over here are set up the way you see here. And over here, like so. And then for the fences, it's open here at the stairs. I've got fence along the back side of this and around this way so that you can't just hit the ball from here directly down. And then on this side, facing hole number 8, the fence runs all the way across here and across here. And then around this way, and it stops at this point because the ball will be rolling down the hill. And again, a little bit of fence here between holes 9 and 10. And then the final hole, let me give you a good look at the plant placements on the dark green areas around this hole. You have these 2 little guys on top of these plants here, and again, notice where the little red flower is. And we're almost done with the flyover here. And then on this side, there's this little plant down here on top of that triangular piece. And then continuing back towards the beginning of the course, and then in this little area here, you notice these are half a block back off the edge of this terrain block here. And that's just creating a little path for the player to follow to get to these stairs. And then we're back at the beginning. Okay, so there is our fly-through, there's our plant placements and all the fence pieces. So I think I've covered all of that. Now to style these, I'm going to use my power disc for Alice's Wonderland. I've already placed that on my Disney Infinity base to unlock that texture set. And about half of the plant clusters will use this style, but to save time I'm going to style all of the plants to use that. So let's do it on this one here. And that will be the Wonderland terrain corner in this case. I'm going to theme all. Are you sure? Yes. And this is going to go through and change all of these. And it'll take a moment to do that. Alright, so there is the entire course. Now, for me, this does not provide enough variety of trees and plants, so I'm going to use a second style for some of these. I'm going to use the Through the Looking Glass style. This is the plant style that goes with the darker grass that I'm using. And so for this one, for example, I'm going to do that. And again, if you don't have that style because you're on PC, you can use the Briar Ridge style. I think that would work well. Or you can use any other plant style you like, or you could even leave it like it is now, but this looks kind of tacky to me. So I'm going to use the Through the Looking Glass corner, and let me apply that. And that provides just a nice different kind of a tree. All of the Through the Looking Glass terrain corners feature blue and green, and so that's how I differentiate that style as I go look around the toy box. So the trees from the Alice's Wonderland style use the red. All of the styles for this use the have a blue and a green look to them, and so that's important. Again, if you do not have that style, you can use the Briar Ridge style, but if you use that style for this particular tree, you're going to end up with that, which doesn't, to me, look quite as good. If you're going to use Briar Ridge, I would recommend, let me change this back so I can remove it. I would recommend that for all the pieces that you're going to see in a moment where I'm using this, I would recommend taking this piece out and putting that one in its place, so that when you style this to use Briar Ridge, you get the nice big tree. So that's what I would recommend, but again, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the other Alice's Wonderland themes, so that's why I'm using this piece. Okay, to save time, I'm going to go offline and style the rest of the plants the way I want, and then I'll come back and do one last flyover so you can see which plants use this Through the Looking Glass style. Okay, I'm back, and I've styled all of the plants, and as you can see, I think personally it looks a lot better having variety of plants. There's some red ones, but they're not all red. Some of them are green, and I think that just makes this look so much better. But let's take a quick look. I'll do one last flyover, and you can see which plants are using this particular style. And again, you can tell them because they have the blue base, and they're mostly green. So go ahead and do a quick fly through. And again, pause the video at any time if you're building this on your system and you want to recreate this exactly as I have it. So I did those two earlier. Along the river, just about all of these plants use the through the looking glass style. I think that just looks a lot better, a lot more lush along the river, having all of those plants use that style with the blue base. Just gives it a really nice lush look. So all the way around the river base is using that, except I did put one little piece here with the painted roses and one red tree here. But all the rest of them are using the blue style. And again, we'll start here on hole 1. So this one here, this is actually using the tangled style, which is the same style as our grass here that we're using. So Rapunzel's theme for that one. I just thought that looked a little better. And then that's the normal Alice in Wonderland theme right there, Alice's Wonderland. Same with this one, that's using the tangled style as well. All the rest of these through here are using Alice's Wonderland. And then over here, these are using Alice's Wonderland for this and for this. And the rest of these are using Through the Looking Glass. Again, you can tell from the blue base. I just think that adds a little bit more variety of tree, and it just looks so much better to me. Some of these plants here, when you don't have the tree, and those other ones that I styled at the beginning of hole 1 a few moments ago, you saw they kind of looked very prickly. They had this prickly kind of bush look to them, and I just thought that was kind of ugly. These look so much better. Alright, across the other side of hole 3. You can see which ones of these plants are using the blue and green. That's Through the Looking Glass. That one is the tangled style. If you don't end up with this exactly the way I have it, that's fine. If you want to mix the trees up a little bit and do a little bit different, maybe style that one to be red and this one to be blue, that's fine. Doesn't really matter, but I know some of you like to recreate this exactly as I have it. And so that's why I'm doing the flyover. And then you can also kind of see exactly how this looks. Going along hole 5. Kind of following the same path that I did before. Alright, hole number 6. Between hole 6 and 7, you can see what we've got there. Everything on this side of this raised area is using Through the Looking Glass. Everything on this side is using the Alice's Wonderland. These, of course, in the hedge maze garden area have to use Alice's Wonderland because you got to have the painted roses. That's just where those belong. And I don't know why these didn't style. That's weird. The style didn't stick. I know I styled those. Okay, so that's what those should be. Alright, so that's it for hole 7. Hole number 8, starting up here on this back side of this surface, going around the perimeter. There's another one. That's weird. I believe I think that one should have actually used the red. Not sure what happened there. That's pretty strange. I'll put my power disc back down. That should have been the red. There we go. Okay, and then all of the plants that are on the surface here for hole number 8, these are all using the Alice's Wonderland. So you got all of the flowers from the movie there, the toadstools and all those fun things. Alright, I think I showed you this little section here before. Yeah, that's on the side of hole number 4 there. Alright, hole number 9. You can see again which plants are using the through the looking glass style. This is between hole 10 and hole 2. Both of these little plants are using through the looking glass. I like those mushrooms. It just makes that look really good. Man, there's another one. That's just weird. Okay, and then that one's the through the looking glass. This is looking down the hill toward the Small World facade. Again, you can see which ones are using the blue. That's using the red. And there you have it. And with that, the build exercise for this toy box is done. Next time we'll hook up the logic for the game itself, and then we'll be all finished. I told you this would be a short series. It's not a difficult toy box to build, it just takes some time. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel or follow me on my blog before you go, if you haven't already done that. See you next time.